Changing times. This is an era of the spoiled consumer. Almost every company, every brand is out there to woo you. Instant gratification. This is an age of instant gratification. I want it now. I can't wait. Even now, we do darshan of our gods and goddesses on the digital platform because we don't have the time to really go to a temple. Too many choices, too little time. There is whole plethora of platforms today available when it comes to media. You have newspapers, you have magazines, you have digital, you have Twitter, you have YouTube. Too many choices, too little time. Comics meet this changing consumer needs. Three insights that I talked about. One, consumer is the king. Too many choices and I need it now. I can't wait. Comics is the perfect platform to meet these changing needs of the consumer. I am going to show the people of Gotham that the city does not belong to the criminals and the corrupt. I can't do that as Bruce Wayne. A man is just flesh and blood and can be ignored. But as a symbol I can be everlasting, incorruptible. So spoke Batman in the movie Batman Begins 2005. So what is Batman all about? This is a strip from the first appearance of Batman way back in May 1939 in the issue number 27 of the Detective Comics. Now if you look what Batman as a superhero stands for, he basically stands for establishing some societal norms. He stands for establishing order above chaos. Let's look at another superhero, Superman. Now this is a strip from his first appearance in Action Comics number 1 in May 1938 issue. What Superman as a superhero stands for is he stands for truth, justice in the American way. Now, Superman was created at a time when World War was about to happen and there was a lot of stress on how America as a developed nation has to lead the world as a leader. So Superman was created basically to establish the American way of life. 2 points to note: superheroes help maintain accepted societal norms in face of chaos and deviance. Anytime there is chaos in the society or there is a deviation from the established societal norms, superheroes play a very critical role. Let's look at Tintin. I'm sure many of you would have read Tintin comics at some part of your life. Now there are a lot of good social messages that Herge inbuilt into the Tintin comics. Racism in Castlefory Emerald. Now there was a time in Europe where gypsies were looked upon with great suspicion and any crime that was committed was attributed to gypsies. Now he picked up this social issue of why only gypsies should be targeted for any crime that happens in the society in this album, The Castlefory Emerald. He picks up the issue of anti-imperialism in Blue Lotus. In this novel, what he talks about is how another nation, Japan, invades China and then tries to suppress the culture and the history of the society there. Slavery in the Red Sea Sharks. Now this novel, this album was written at a time when it was okay for European nations to have their own colonies in Africa. Belgium also had a colony in Congo and it was okay to have slaves. This whole issue of abolition of slavery was taken up by Herge in this Tintin album of the Red Sea Sharks. Tintin and the Picaros. Now this was an issue that he raised way back in the 60s where he talked about Banana Republic. The issue that he picks up is there is a civil war in the country, people fight, thousands of people die, and the only thing that changes at the end of that revolution is the name of the airport. So he brings about this whole issue of Banana Republic and political interference very beautifully in this album, Tintin and the Picaros. Let's look at the Indian comic universe. We had the first Indian superhero, Bahadur. Now why is he unique in the world of comic in the Indian scenario? He himself was the son of a dacoit. But unlike his father, he had established the villages and formed a citizen force which took on the dacoits. Now as this whole issue of dacoity reduced in Chambal, Bahadur started tackling other social evils like drug cases, smugglers, mafias and so on and so forth. Detective Moochwala. Now this is one of the first comic strips in the Indian scene. Here you had a detective and his dog who took on the criminals in the Bombay area, and very beautifully he brought about all the social levels that these duo were able to tackle. Chacha Chaudhary. Now many of you here would have read a Chacha Chaudhary comic at some point of your life. Now what is unique about Chacha Chaudhary as a superhero and bringing about a social change is he is a common man like you and me. He is also concerned with his daily living. He has a wife to support, he has Sabu to feed, and the reason he succeeds is because though he is a common man, his brain works faster than a computer. He has always an enemy, which is Raka, who became immortal after drinking a magical potion. And through Raka, Pran has been able to create a lot of social levels which Chacha Chaudhary as a superhero is able to complete and bring to an end. Now Tinkle Comics has a character called Shikari Sambhu. Now through this character, Tinkle Comics has been spreading the message of the need to conserve wildlife. They also have a character called Supandi. Now he is very relevant in a modern day context, though this character was created way back in the 70s, where he says how you can be cool even in the toughest of situations. So coolness quotient is something that the superhero has been talking about. Let's look at the world of Raj comics. You have Nagaraj. Now Nagaraj was initially created as an evil genius, but through the power of a spiritual guru, he became a superhero who went on to fight a lot of crime and criminals in the city. You have Super Commando Dhruva. Now, the way this superhero is different is that he does not wear a cape or does not wear a mask. He also is like a common citizen like you and me. He helps set up a commando force and together they fight all the criminals in the city. Doga. He is the first Indian vigilante. You can say he is the first Indian Batman. Now the way he differs from Batman is Batman has a lot of respect for established judicial system. Doga does not believe in any societal norms or judicial system. But as a vigilante, he is always out to fight with the criminals. Now what has also happened is now recently in the last 8-10 years, we see a lot of comics on myths and beliefs. So teaching moral stories through this comics has suddenly become very hip. Moral stories are no more boring. So you now have comics on things like the Mahabharata, the Kauravas, Krishna, Draupadi. Even established publication houses like the Gita Press, the Vivekanand Press is now using the power of comics to spread social messages. Now, these graphic novels are also making work of literature very interesting. There are many people today who would hate to read, 800 pages of a Charles Dickens novel or, a Shakespearean Merchant of Venice or, Othello or a Macbeth. These graphic novels now bring out these stories, the lessons in morality that these stories talk about in a very interesting manner, in a format which is interesting to read. In fact, today comics have extended from just becoming a line drawing to graphic novels, and they have become almost like work of art which everybody can appreciate and enjoy. Comics are also being used to extend the message which is there in some of the movies. Now, one example that I would like to quote is from the movie Hum Tum. Now this movie talked about the whole messaging of boys and girls being equal. Once the movie got released, the production house also extended the same message in a very interesting manner through comic strips. So the messaging extended from the platform of movies to the world of comics. So you have now comics on movies like Doom, you have movies on comics on movies like Ek Tha Tiger. Now comics are also being used by soap operas to extend the life of the soap operas, to extend the message which is there in these soap operas. Now Chidyaghar is one of the episodes that happens on the sub TV. And there's a lot of social messaging on joint family together, helping others, paying respect to the elders. Now this messaging is also getting extended in the world of comics. So from serials, they're extending the social message into the world of comics. Now harnessing the power of comics, this is something that has happened in the last 2-3 years. Stan Lee, who created Spider-Man, has created an Indian superhero called Chakra. Now, Chakra has been used in a comic format now to spread the message of UN sustainability goals. The 7 or 8 goals that UN is today fighting to establish in the society, this superhero takes on explaining what those sustainability goals are all about. Now, in the end, I would only say, now these are the lines from the movie The Dark Knight. This is what happens when an indestructible force meets an immovable object. You will not kill me, moved by your sense of self-justice, and I will not kill you because you are just too much fun. This is what Joker says to Batman. He just says, you will never kill me and I will never kill you. This is what the world of comics is all about. As long as there is chaos, there is deviation in the society, you will always have superheroes who will try to bring order, try to bring equilibrium, try to bring the societal norms back to where it should have been. And that's the power of comics. Keep reading comics and keep thinking what message the comics are bringing to you. Thank you.